Part 1, The First Mistake. 9:47 in the morning. You are standing inside a bright white showroom, in front of a black car so glossy it reflects your shoes. The salesperson smiles, places a hand on the car door, and says, "This is a very valuable asset to own." You nod. Not exactly because you believe it, but because your whole life, you have heard people say things like that. A house is an asset. A car is an asset. A watch is an asset. A handbag is an asset. Anything expensive enough gets called by a more impressive name, an asset. You look at the price tag. That number equals almost 2 years of work, not including insurance, maintenance, parking, gas, repairs, and every other cost required to keep it worthy of the image you want other people to see. But in that moment, you are not thinking about the cost. You are thinking about your friend's reactions. You are thinking about what it would feel like to drive it through the city. You are thinking that, finally, you have proof that you are moving up. At the same time, somewhere else, someone has just signed the papers to buy a small, old house. No showroom lights. No background music. No one clapping. Just a rental agreement, loan documents, and a small stream of cash that will start flowing in next month. Both people call what they bought an asset. But only one of those things pays its owner. The other one asks its owner for money every month. That is the first mistake. The first mistake is not that you spend money. The first mistake is calling everything you buy an asset. Part 2, Income is not freedom. Your paycheck arrives at 8:03 in the morning. You look at the number on your phone and feel relieved for a few minutes. Then the money starts leaving. Rent. Utilities. Food. Gas. A weekend dinner. A small purchase to reward yourself. An installment payment so familiar that you no longer even call it a burden. By the end of the month, your account is not empty. But it has not given you any real power either. It is just enough for you to tell yourself, next month will be better. On the first level, you are a person with income. You no longer have to ask anyone for money. You can pay your own bills, choose where you eat, and make decisions over the small part of life your paycheck allows. That is the first kind of freedom. But it is conditional freedom. Because your entire system only runs as long as you keep showing up. You have to wake up, go to work, answer emails, attend meetings, finish tasks, and make some organization continue to believe you are worth paying. If you disappeared for 6 months, what would still pay you? That is the coldest question. Income is not an asset. Income is cash flow passing through you. An asset is something that exists outside of you but still works for you. You can have a higher salary, a better title, a brighter office. But if every dollar depends on you continuing to trade your time for it, you do not have freedom yet. You only have a better paid treadmill. Income is what you earn while you are running. An asset is what keeps running when you stop. Part 3, Ownership makes you look rich. Cash flow makes you rich. 3 weeks later, you sign the contract to buy the car. Everything feels effortless, soft seats, bottled water, professional smiles, the key placed inside a small black box. When you pick it up, your heart beats faster. Not just because of the car, but because of the meaning you have attached to it. You drive out of the showroom. The city reflects off the glass. A few people turn to look. You feel more confident, as if the car has carried you across some invisible line. Your friends compliment it. Your co-workers ask how much it cost. Your relatives look at you differently. You start buying more things that match this new version of yourself, the better phone, a brighter apartment, sharper clothes. At this level, you become an owner. And ownership is very easy to get addicted to. It gives you something to point at, something to casually show off, something to tell yourself that you are not standing still. But an expensive object does not automatically become an asset. Rich people look at objects through cash flow. They ask, does this thing produce money? Does it appreciate in value? Does it reduce taxes? Can it be used as leverage for something else? If the answer is no, they may still buy it. But they know it is consumption. One night, you open your laptop. On one side is a newer car model. On the other side is a small rental apartment far from downtown. This time, you do not see them as two objects. You see them as two directions money can flow. One thing requires you to keep pumping money into it to keep it shiny. The other can quietly send money back to you. From that point on, the question changes. It is no longer, can I afford to buy this? It becomes, after I buy it, what will this thing do to my money? Many people look rich because they own a lot of things. Truly rich people own things that do not need to be shown off. Part 4: Real assets and the power of leverage. No one claps for this stage. There is no beautiful photo. No moment of stepping out of a showroom. There is only you, a spreadsheet, dry numbers, and a kind of maturity very few people can see. Building real assets is usually boring at first. It does not impress people. It forces you to turn down instant rewards in exchange for something slower, colder, and stronger. In your mind, money begins to turn into workers. Every dollar you do not waste is a potential employee. Every proper asset is an invisible worker. It does not sleep, it does not complain, it only needs to be placed in the right position. Then you encounter leverage. Someone a few years older than you tells you he is controlling an asset much larger than the amount of money he actually put in. Your first reaction is caution, debt, interest, pressure, risk. You are not wrong. You are just seeing only half of the picture. Poor people often know debt as a burden. Rich people use debt as a tool. They do not borrow to consume in the present. They borrow to control assets that produce cash flow, have the potential to appreciate, or offer benefits greater than the cost of capital. From there, you begin asking different questions. How much of this is my capital? How much is someone else's capital? What interest rate can the cash flow handle? Where is the margin of safety? If everything goes wrong, can I survive? Leverage compresses time. But it does not become smart on your behalf. It does not turn a bad asset into a good one. It only magnifies. If you are right, the result becomes bigger. If you are wrong, the mistake becomes bigger too. Leverage does not create wisdom. It only enlarges who you already are. Part 5: Assets by options. Systems keep power. One morning, you wake up and no longer panic when you think about work the way you used to. Not because you are extremely rich, but because somewhere behind your daily life, small streams of cash have started to exist. They are not huge yet, but they are enough to create a cushion between you and fear. Before, you thought a good asset was something that earned extra money. Now you understand, the good asset buys back the parts of life that people without assets are forced to sell. Time. Calm. The right to say no. The ability to wait. The ability to avoid saying yes only because next month's bills are coming. At this level, you do not just have more money. You have more choices. But then you realize that making money is not enough. You have to keep it. Two people can earn the same amount of money, but a few years later, they stand in very different places. The difference is not only discipline. The difference is the system. Legal structure. Tax structure. Ownership structure. Protection structure. Those things are not exciting. No engine sound. No new key. No compliments. But they protect wealth from quiet leaks, poorly handled taxes, loose contracts, lawsuits, clumsy transfers, emotional decisions. A person with money can be rich for a period of time. A person with a system has a chance to stay wealthy across many periods of time. Then you realize the market is not flat. It has levels, doors, and gatekeepers. Some opportunities only appear to people with the right capital, the right network, the right reputation, and the right timing. Making money is a skill. Keeping money is design. Access is where the system begins to accelerate. Part 6: the greatest asset is the one that outlives you. At the final level, the question is no longer how much money you have. The question is, what continues to operate when you are no longer there? That is the coldest shift. Before, you were the center of the story, your income, your fear, your freedom, your assets. But at a certain scale, the word "you" begins to fade. Assets are no longer built only to serve one lifetime. They are designed to move through generations. You hear people talk about trusts, family offices, foundations, succession planning, ownership rights, beneficiary rights, and control rights. None of it sparkles. But that is where power becomes most durable. At this level, you are not just building assets. You are designing a legacy. Assets can create a cushion for people who have not even been born yet. They can open opportunities before a child even understands what money is. They can turn one generation's effort into a higher starting point for the next generation. Old money families do not just pass down money. They pass down a system where money already knows how to work before the heir even understands labor. Tomorrow morning, another young person will wake up in a small rented room, open a banking app, and think his life goal is very simple: earn enough money, buy a house, buy a car, live a more stable life, worry less. You understand him. Because he used to be you. He will call his first big purchase an asset. And it may take him many years to realize he has given the wrong name to many things. People think rich people own assets.